Okay, hello everybody out there. Welcome to Turn the Page. I am Janine Steffens, your host, and if this is the first time that you're actually seeing me, welcome and thank you for tuning in. And I have got a fantastic guest for you guys tonight. She's making her second appearance back on Turn the Page is Laura Van Tyne. I always get that mixed up, but I'm going to bring her in a couple of minutes here. We are going to do the call, and I'm just going to let her explain. I have her books. She has sent me a couple of her books, and we're going to talk a little bit about the book, but more of the information that she has. She's coming from a very positive perspective of spirituality, and that's what I'm all about. And so, without any further ado, let me bring in Laura. Hi, Laura. How are you?
Hi, Janine. Great. How are you?
I'm trying to stay as cool as I can, and this is like no sleeves, and then having the hat on there, I'm going to contain the heat. So, we're all I think this whole country is either underwater or on fire, seriously. But Laura, how are you doing? And just tell us a little bit about you and what we're going to talk about.
Well, I'm doing great. I'm visiting my homeland of San Diego right now, so I'm out of my box basically. Speaking of fires, on my way here to my friend Gina's house, I passed a huge fire on my way over. I was kind of lucky I got through the freeway, frankly. But I'm here and everything's good. Very excited to be here.
Yeah. Oh, my watch is talking to me, and I wasn't expecting that. So, okay, this is fantastic. Yeah. I mean, me and you, we could probably go in a lot of different directions, and I hope that I can schedule you more in the future because I just love your energy. And first of all, what I do want to let everybody know is that the last time you were on here, you sent me your book. It's Sovereignty and Soul Tribe is the actual book. And I just love it. I'm not doing any justice because of the glare that I have here, but the artwork on this book is unbelievable. Your soul tribe is here. I'm going to read the back of the book to assist and guide us as we embark on our spiritual journey with trust and intention. We can consciously build and create our soul tribe. This is beautiful. Everybody is using this word soul tribe. It seems to be a buzzword, but it's a good buzz, if you will. And then the sovereignty is actually a blank journal book.
Yes, there's three journals: sovereignty, trust, and intuition. And those came about because when I work with clients, those are the three areas that people struggle. They may struggle with one of those three areas or all three of those areas. And so you read the book and you start to process and journal, where am I lacking in my free will? How am I not trusting myself? Or how do I strengthen my intuition? And it's basically a journal format. And you don't have to buy the journals. You can just get a notepad basically. But I think it's just a really good exercise as we're learning how to literally build a healthy soul.
Mm-hmm. That is so important. How to build a healthy soul, or is it, or if I may, our soul is already there. It's already healthy, right? We have to. What do we have to do? I'm going to let you take this in any direction because I don't want to throw you off course. I'll ask the questions, but I want also people to raise your voice out there. Laura is going to be on the phone lines, 563-999-3717. They're not turned on yet. But if whenever, Laura, you tell me to go live on the phones, we will do that. We'll start taking your calls. Raise your voice, you guys. We want to hear from you because you are a vibration, you are a frequency, and it's so important for you to have a voice. Voices were taken away from so many people, and Laura wants to hear what you have to say. And so where are we going with this, Laura?
Absolutely. Thank you, Janine. So we talk about our health all the time, right? We talk about our physical health, our mental health, our emotional health. We even talk about our financial health. But what about our soul's health? And then it goes back to what is the soul, right?
Right.
The soul is simply the energy that's animating this physical body. When we leave this physical body, it means we die and we cross over and we move on. But the energy that animates this body does not cease to exist. Christ talks about life everlasting, not death everlasting, right? And so, how do we build a healthy soul and why is it important? Well, it's important because the healthier our soul is, the easier our lives become. We start to live a life with wisdom and discernment and trust and intuition and those types of things. So we're all here to learn. there is no learning in perfection. So if we were born perfect, what would be the point, right? I mean, I like to think I'm perfect, don't you? No, I'm kidding.
Well, I'm getting in trouble from someone in my family every time.
Yeah, right. Me too.
What's it like to be perfect when nobody else is around you? We have, that's a Virgo rising. I blame it on those astrology signs.
Yes, let's blame them.
So yeah, it's so actually we're here to learn from our soul. Is that correct?
We're here to learn from ourselves. Every action has a reaction to it, right? So we come in, we incarnate here, our soul reincarnates in here. We do come in over and over. Some people have reincarnated more than others, and it's not a competition, it just is. I mean, frankly, I don't know who wants to have the competition of who reincarnated here the most. And I'm kidding.
Well, back in the day, and I don't know if any of this information is true anymore, because we find out there's so much that may applied back then that may not apply now. And so this is kind of where I stand. This is my personal issue. But the information we're learning is that it's completely different from anything that we're told. And in the world of spirituality, I believe that is also true. But a lot of times people will say, oh, you're an old soul and you're coming back, and those type of things. And when you hear that, it's like, God, what did I do wrong so many times that I have to keep coming back, right? That's the first thing that you think of when somebody is telling you that. But what is your interpretation of when somebody says you're an old soul?
Somebody who's an old soul, they may have reincarnated here to help humanity. So we all come here with soul purposes and soul missions. Most people have soul purposes. How do I learn how to overcome a drug addiction? How do I actually grow up and survive this time around if I come in from an abusive family, perhaps? Or how do I learn how to break my family's negative patterns? These are all soul purposes, and every soul purpose, and we have many of them, they change throughout our lives. We can master one soul purpose. Maybe I have my own children now, and I'm not abusing my children like I was abused, right? That's a huge achievement. Most people, honestly, breaking a negative family pattern is probably one of the hardest soul purposes we have, because it's so easy to go back into our comfort zone, no matter how uncomfortable it is.
Yeah. And you know what? I kind of agree with you about the old souls that were, so if you will, we're out there in the ethers, if you will, and we're kind of seeing what's going on in planet Earth, and we could be just a beacon of light out there, and we're doing our whatever work that we have to do out there, and we look down and we say, oh, those humans are coming into something so and such, and I sit there and I would say, oh, okay, well, I'm thinking of It's a Wonderful Life, this little angel, right? Every time you hear a bell, an angel gets its wing. But then you kind of figured, okay, what are my lessons? What do I still have? My soul still has to learn, and that's why we incarnate into a body. That's what I was told. Now I don't know if that's still true.
I think that's true. I think there's a lot of theme and variation with it. And, let's look at maybe a child that has cancer, right? Why would God do that to this child? The truth is we don't know. Maybe that child came in with a contract to have this form of cancer so he can understand what it was like to have cancer. Maybe he dies of cancer, but his soul takes that knowledge with him, so that later on, and again, there's no time in the other dimensions, just our physical realm of the earth plane, he can come back and he knows what the remedies are to cure cancer in a future lifetime. That's a possibility.
Yeah, another possibility, and we can agree to disagree on that, especially at this time, if these new souls are coming in now. And what we are actually learning, that can supposedly, there's solutions from Mother Earth that can heal this that we were never told about. Yeah. And so maybe at that particular time, let's say like 1960s, you come in, you're a little child, you have, I go back even further, 20, the polios, all the diseases. I was actually told from a spiritual teacher that I took is that the level of consciousness is a reflection. Well, the type of disease is a reflection of the level of consciousness, if that makes any sense.
It does.
Now that we're in a time of where we're at, and I decide that I want to come back as a child, let's just say with a particular disease, or just to maybe discover, oh, I could have used that plant over there in my backyard, and boom, so
Yeah.
this is so many possibilities, as you say.
It is. And it could be that maybe the parents needed to learn how to care for somebody who was sick on an intimate level.
Yeah.
And again, it's a remembering, relearning. Is it relearning the plant medicines? Is it relearning that actually dis-ease doesn't need to be? We don't know. And
Yeah.
so is there a lot of theme and variation? So what do we do about it, right? How do we, if we're an old soul, many times back to your original question about what is an old soul, to me, somebody who is an old soul, and sometimes you can just see it in their eyes, right? The windows to the soul. That old soul is usually here to help humanity on some level. And we're seeing a lot more of these types of people coming to this planet right now because there's a lot of fixing that needs to happen. And even people who are deemed old souls still have soul purposes along with the soul mission or two. So we're not exempt from those soul purposes, which would be, great, but no fast track pass on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, our vibration, Mother Earth's vibration, the frequencies, everything is changing. There's so much information that's coming out, and we're going to learn. We're going to just, everybody, please keep an open mind about a lot of different things that are happening out there. The best thing that I say is, I am comfortable with saying I don't know, I don't have any answers for anything, but I'm sure willing to wait as long as God gives me life here to find out whatever truth it is that I have to learn at this time. I'm going to open up some of the lines here because I do want to test something different. I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to open up the switchboard. So if you guys want to call in and just add to the conversation, raise your voice, 563-999-3717. Just give me 1 minute. And I'm going to queue up my phone here. And look, you could talk about anything that you want to at this time right now, Laura, when I get...
All right. One of the things we talk about building our soul health are the use of angels. And we have been programmed to believe, many of us have been programmed to believe that angels are only to be used in times of emergency, or my problem isn't worthy of an angel's help. And so what do you do about that? Well, the reality is that there's many types of angels out there. Angels were created to assist humanity. We got to remember this. They were created to assist humanity. So angels earn karma too. Angels can ascend in their ranks also. We just seem to think that an angel is an angel is an angel, but they can also earn karma as well. So if we're just afraid to ask an angel for help with our problems, they're just standing around twiddling their thumbs and they can't ascend in their ranks. So we need to understand that no matter how basic the problem is, no matter how complicated the problem is we need to start working with our angels. This is one of the best ways to build our soul tribe, our spiritual teams, our spirit guides, is to use the angels. Everybody has access to angels. That's what humanity has in common. So how do we do it? We can simply ask, use the mundane. I'm looking for a good parking spot. I want to go buy some jeans that are on sale, right? Ask the angels, hey, angels, I need a good parking spot. I mean, I have the best parking karma ever, knock on wood. And sometimes, I don't want it, so I park farther away because I need to walk or whatever. But always ask them to help you with the problems. Ask them to work with you. And angels can't violate spiritual law, which means that they can't usurp somebody's free will. So they cannot help us unless we ask for their help. We have to remember that part.
And it's as easy as help me, guide me, teach me.
Yeah. You know what, angels, I need I want this new job. I'm applying for a new job, and angels, I need your help to get my foot in the door for an interview, right? Now, I'm in the door for the interview, and I'm going to ask the angels to please guide my words to the best of their ability for the greatest or best possible outcome. The goal is to not take away the job from somebody else. The goal is for the best possible outcome. So let's say I get the job and my angels help me. That's a huge win. But what if I don't get the job? Maybe somebody else needed the experience of that job more than I did. Or maybe there's something else better for me down the road that I am not fully aware of. And if we take a moment and give ourselves the gift of time and reflect upon our life, if we look at something that we didn't get, that we thought we deserved or should have had or whatever, what was the real outcome of that as you look back, hindsight 2020, right? Maybe maybe you met somebody different. Maybe you moved somewhere different. We don't know. The options and opportunities are endless.
Okay, let's go a little bit deeper with that. So we're kind of touching on the foundation of it, and people are struggling right now. And I have to bring this up because this is a God's truth. To how do I put this? So I do my shows all the time, and I also have a lot of people call in. And what I actually see is a division among families. And this is the first time I think ever in history. My mother, brother, sister, child won't speak to me. Now, this is just how do we utilize the angels in this aspect in a way that we provide the languaging, and so that we are asking in a good way.
So the first thought I have in this is that we need to understand there's mortal time, right? Every 60 minutes, we have an hour, that mortal time, but we also have cosmic time, that time that's outside of our physical bodies. So if I have a child that is not speaking to me or a family member not speaking to me, it may help that person to understand that maybe it's outside of mortal time for now, and we can think about cosmic time because our souls are eternal. So I am seeing rifts all the time like this, okay? And it's personal for me too, I'll be honest with you. You can ask angels to help you communicate with your loved one telepathically. You can, when you go to sleep at night, a lot of times we go to sleep at night, we leave our physical bodies and we travel. And we usually go to the higher realms where we get guidance, where we get lessons, etc., from our spiritual teams and our spirit guides. We can ask that we sit at the table with our loved one who we're in conflict with, or they're in conflict with us, in the ethers, in the astrals, so that we can have that conversation, that dialogue from a higher level, that hopefully it starts to trickle down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the divisions I'm seeing are epic right now. And I think people can agree with us. I don't know anybody who hasn't suffered this type of loss. Yeah. And the grief that comes with this kind of loss is honestly, in many cases, worse than if they would have died, right? Because if that person would have died, there would have been an end to it. I could grieve for the life lost, but now I'm grieving rejection. I'm grieving these other elements. And frankly, a lot of people don't even know why it's happening, right?
Is it that the energy of the humans have been fragmented so much?
I think so. And I think a lot of humans have, their free will has been mitigated, meaning we all have spiritual teams. There's, energy is something. It's hard to define energy, right? It doesn't have a boundary. We can't stick it in a cup or a container. It just goes out. If we go into a meeting at work and you walk into the room and that phrase, oh, the tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife, that means something. Mm-hmm. That is energy. That's a low frequency energy. Now, if we're talking about how to build a healthy soul, it's summertime now, right? We're dealing with family reunions and company picnics and stuff. And let's face it, difficult people, right? They're everywhere. They're our karmic challenge. They offer us a lot to learn. So if I've got to go to a family reunion and I know I've got this contentious Uncle Sal, if your name is Sal, I apologize. I'm just
Charlie, Uncle Charlie.
Uncle Charlie. So you go there and you know that it's going to be difficult. You can bring the angels with you. You can ask, I want an entourage of angels to surround me, to protect me, to help relieve the negative energies around my field, my energetic field. I can't do this for you, Janine, without your permission, right?
Right.
So I would have to have your permission to bring the angels in for you to clear your energies or whatever that is. But I can do it for me. Now, I'm in a room full of people. How does that impact the energy of the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we can clear energy this way. There's a lot of visualization, spiritual tools. I'm all about building your spiritual toolbox. If love, light, and sage worked all on its own, we'd have a much different planet. That's my belief and my theory. I think they do work, but if it really worked the way we thought it would work, we'd have a different, type of planet here. So we need to work on building our spiritual tool belts, adding to it. How can we do that? A lot of times it's visualization practices. It could be crystals or whatever it is that can clear energies. So spiritual practices are just that. They are practices. Doctors have them, lawyers have them, right? We can have them too. So one of the ways we can clear a room that is full of toxic energy, and I have the spiritual jurisdiction to do so because I'm in that room, right? You can literally visualize yourself, and you can stop for a moment and just pause. You can, the more you practice it, the easier it is. And just bring down a huge rain of salt. Visualize salt coming through the air, through the room, through all of the furnishings, etc., because salt cleanses in all dimensions. We used to use salt to cut clean wounds, right? We used to use salt to cure meat so it wouldn't go rancid. Salt cleanses in every dimension. You can use salt in your room. People will put like a glass of salt water near their bed sometimes, and there's other things like that we can use physically too. The physical and the mental capacities together are a wonderful combination.
You just reminded me of something. When people got married, didn't they used to throw salt, or was that something else? Or rice?
Salt or rice. It depends on the culture, I think, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things we can do, and you can visualize yourself pouring salt down there to clean and clear the room. And I actually just got a YouTube notification on my YouTube channel from somebody who says, "Oh my gosh, I've done this, and I can't believe the difference it made." And she just went on and on about it, and she just did it once, and it was a huge difference. So that's that. We can do that, but we need to learn how to build our spiritual muscle to have that healthy soul, to maintain the healthy soul. Just because I have a healthy soul right now in this moment in time doesn't mean something can't happen to me down the road. I turn left and I get hit by a car, right? That's going to damage the overall health of the soul. So the more healthy our soul is, when we hit a trauma or drama, when we fall, it's not as hard and we can bounce back easier.
Okay, let me just take a pause for the cause here. So we're going to take some calls in 5 minutes. I tried to get in early, and it told me you're not scheduled yet. So this is the way that it goes. So any of you are struggling with anything in your life, and so she's given you a foundation to work with and trying to understand, and you can come back from the symptom, if you will, which is your issue or problem that you're trying to work through at this time, and Laura will help you through that. So jot down the number 563-999-3717, and we want you to raise your voice. Please do, in a good way. When I say raise your voice, that doesn't mean yelling. So we've got 5 more minutes before we get into the calls, and I hope you guys do call in. I'm not seeing too much action out on Rumble. It was set up a little bit late, but I think I am live out there. So if anybody out in Rumble, just give me a thumbs up or something out there. Let me know how you're doing. The numbers out there also at the top, and it's so continue, please.
Excellent. So there's a lot we can do to help ourselves. We have to understand that when Christ came to this planet, he said that we have it within ourselves. We don't necessarily need a building of wood and stone to help us heal, but we can learn how to do this ourselves. That's a really big deal, to be able to know and understand that. And it's also okay to ask for help. A lot of times when we're dealing with a problem or a situation, we're afraid to talk about it. If we're dealing with the death of a loved one and we're dealing with the grief of that, we're afraid to talk about it because we don't want our grief to become contagious and make somebody else feel down in the dumps or whatever. But the ability to talk about it, to share it, helps other people. It helps us learn other perspectives at the same time. And there is no healing without God. There
Perfect.
is. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Very beautiful. And so if any of you guys are struggling with anything right now, if you're a young person, if you're middle aged, if you're in your seniors, if there's something that you want to know, and you've got a question on, she's giving you the foundations of how to work with the energies and how to work with the angels. And it is a beautiful thing. And maybe start your own, what I call like a ritual. Just start practicing this. It's just like anything else until you perfect it. So I'm going to start taking calls until showtime. I'm going to start taking calls right now. The number again is 563-999-3717. The switchboard is open. And so as soon as we get our first caller, I'll let Laura know. And hopefully this will work because I'm coming in and using the technology a little bit different. So let's just see how this goes here. So I'll put my phone over here. Anybody has a question on anything, please call in.
Yeah, technology is great when it works, right?
Let me tell you, we're kind of talking about energies and different things affecting it, and we talk about how we're feeling, and that has a big effect on technology. Why is that, Laura?
You know what? It's energy, right? I mean, how many people out there have been really angry or frustrated about, I don't know, maybe somebody cut them off and they were done wrong or whatever it was. And then you get on your computer or your phone and nothing works, right? The apps don't work, or you can't log in, or the internet doesn't work, right? How and why is that? So, and it's our energy. So I remember years ago when I was just figuring this out, and in the beginning, I was so angry with God because he was putting my family to the test like crazy. Okay. And I didn't understand what I didn't know back then. I was a middle school math and Spanish teacher, totally normal person, right? Whatever normal is. And I'm going to check out. I'm doing a bunch of errands. And every time I go to check out, the cash register breaks down at different stores. And at first I didn't think anything of it. And then I walked into, it's a little mom and pop market. It was called North Park Produce in my hometown of Poway. And I walked past the registers, and as I walked past them, went choom, choom, choom. All three of them went out. 1 minute until showtime. And then I hear this voice in my head say, you need to fix that. And then all of a sudden I realized, you know what? That was me. My energy was so angry that I did that. And then I'm thinking, how the heck do I fix that, right? And so I literally calmed myself down and I asked for help in fixing it. And all three cash registers went on simultaneously. That was one of my first big lessons in how our energetic fields affect what's around us. Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to start taking calls, and I'm not sure if you hear this kick in. I'll try to mute it. Okay, so actually I do see somebody out here that has a I'll read it to you. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. Oh, Lord. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we are live, so if anybody wants to... 1 second, it's got to go through a banner of intros here. All right, so there is somebody out here that I want to read this to you. I'll put it up on the screen, but I want to read ahead before I do that. Okay. All right, so this is actually a really good thing to start out with. And it says, I'm going to put it up on the screen here. It says, I've been requesting a couple of angels lately to ride in with us on our trips to town to keep us safe and out of harm's way, and a couple of to stay with my residents to keep the pets safe at home. So that's a good example, right?
This is actually perfect. And especially for the parents out there. And so every time we do this, we build our angelic teams. We can request as many as we want. And so when I request angels to accompany me, I usually have an entourage, but I'll have one on point in front of me, one on each side. And I'll also give them the instructions to remove anything that is not for my greater good before it comes to me. And we can request angels for our pets as well, especially if you have a pet that is home alone or struggling or has anxiety about being left alone. Bring the angels in, assign angels to your pets. Our pets are an extension of us. They are here to help us. Our consciousness and their consciousness become intertwined as we learn to grow with them. And that's a really big deal. If you have a pet that is anxiety about being left behind, you can also take, if you're familiar with Bach flower remedies, rescue remedy, and you can add it a couple drops to their water on a consistent basis. That will help them as well with reducing the anxiety. But you can ask the angels, I'm requesting that you help my beloved pet not feel scared, anxious, alone, abandoned, or whatever it is while I'm gone, and to stay with them. And so that was perfect. I do that all the time. In fact, I talk about this a couple of times. And if I spoke about it on the last time I was here, I apologize. But years ago, my middle daughter had this concussion from a cheerleading accident. She was on the flyer on the cheerleading pyramid, and it didn't land well. She had a concussion. It lasted 9 minutes. She had to learn how to read again. I mean, it was awful. So she gets her driver's license late, and she can finally have her driver's license, and she wants to drive herself to the beach to go surfing. All of her friends have been doing it for almost a year now, right? So I'm the mom where I'm like, I'll take her to the beach, and I have to go park at the far end of the parking lot so none of her friends can see her, right?
And she's jumping out as you're still moving.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Drop the surfboard 10 feet more. No, I'm kidding. So she's got her driver's license. She's super excited. She has her own car. She's super excited. Mom, I want to drive myself to the beach Saturday morning. Fine. We've had this plan in motion since the day she, was talking about taking her test. And the night before hits, and I hit this awful wave of like something really bad is going to happen. And I say to her, I said, you can't drive yourself to the beach. You're going to get hit by a drunk driver. It won't be your fault, but you can't do that. Okay. You would have thought World War III would have erupted in my house, and it pretty much did. So I needed to come up with a plan B. And that's when I decided, okay, you know what? Drive yourself. She needed the experience anyways. And for my kids, it was like, oh, Mom, stop being weird. My husband was like, honey, you got to let them, don't. And it wasn't a helicopter parent kind of thing either. So
when you know.
Yeah, you do. And so that morning, and she left super early because of the, tides coming in early, and she's about 2 exits on the freeway before she gets to the beach. So it's not that far. And I pack her car with angels. Back to what May said, I filled her car with angels inside and outside. And I wanted the angelic realms to have their hands, their proverbial hands on her steering wheel, on her hands, and to help guide her all of this stuff from the moment she leaves my driveway to the moment she gets back. Well, wouldn't you know, not even 10 minutes later, we get the phone call. Her voice is shaking. Mom, I was hit by a car, and then the California Highway Patrol shows up. And my husband and I were there super fast, and we get there, and the patrol guy says, ma'am, I don't know how she didn't fully spin out on this freeway or roll the car based on the point of impact. And I was like, wow. And then we get her, the tow truck comes, everything is gone. By the way, we never caught the driver. She was driving a tiny little car, and this guy was in a huge truck. Mm. I mean, one of those, it's like I call them the man trucks. Huge truck. And the point of impact, and he's showing me, she should have spun or flipped. We get her, we all go out to breakfast after that. No surfing that day. And surfboard's gone. She says, Mom, it was the weirdest thing. She said, I saw the truck coming, And the next thing I know, I was floating across the lanes and I just stopped parallel on the side of the road. Now, my biggest concern was that she has a concussion. She's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a beautiful story because in my lifetime, I can tell you two stories that were very similar to that, but I wasn't, oh, how do I put this? Maybe on some level or some subconscious level, we are asking for guidance and help if we are sensing that we are not safe. And things do happen where all of a sudden the car dies or you come to a halt, something like that. That is a perfect example of what you're saying there. And in my life, I know of two family members that this actually happened to. So yeah, I think that Laura, do you agree that we're so used to praying?
Yeah.
When even right before, we can sense that, oh, this something's not going right here.
Yeah, we got to learn how to trust ourselves too, right? And I don't know about people out there, but many of us as children have had our intuition beaten out of us at an early age, right? And so how do we rebuild it? How do we learn how to trust ourselves again? How do we know how not to doubt?
Right? Yeah, that's the $1 million question in everything, especially at this time right now. How do we trust ourselves and our discernment and everything that's out there? It's huge. People are chasing the gold and the silver. We are the gold and the silver. And people have to realize that, once they realize that you can trust your intuition, how powerful that is, how powerful we are. And, I say this every single day, but people have to bring these life situations into it to realize it doesn't have to be a big miracle, saving a life, but I mean, just answering your prayer. I think Mayday one time, she's my moderator that asked you that question. And one time I was in a very bad place and she said, Janine, there's always a silver lining. And we don't see those silver linings because we're stuck in a particular place, right? Do you want to talk about that?
We have to ask ourselves, what do I get to learn from this situation? So when we're in these difficult situations, what do I get to learn? Sometimes what we learn is what not to do. And a lot of times those are the best lessons, right?
Yeah.
What not to do, how not to act, how not to react. And, we are able to tap into our intuition, and it's very simple in many ways. Intuition is simple and elegant at the same time. I can take on a piece of paper and I can write 3 words down on 3 pieces of paper, and I can mix them up, and I can learn how to feel the energy of the words if I hover my hand over that paper. So how do we do that? And it's practice. You might not be, you won't be 100%. Nobody's ever 100% at anything, right? So you can start to feel, trust, etc. How do you, trust your gut? Your spidey senses. We all have them.
Yeah.
And it's just, do I turn left or right? And then also journal what's working for you or not, because now you've got data points. And in my line of work, it's all about data points. So when I work with a client, we're not working in the physical, tangible stuff. So I'm working in the ethers, the stuff that's not tangible. And I like to build a logic trail for all of this because we need the data points. And one of the biggest lessons we can do to have a healthy soul is learn how to vet our spiritual teams. Don't always assume if you're calling Archangel Michael that he shows up. It can be some kind of imposter or shapeshifter. How do you vet him? You can pour salt on him. Visualize yourself pouring salt on him. Visualize yourself pouring frankincense oil on him. The Christ child was gifted frankincense, gold, and myrrh for a reason.
Because it's the vibration of the essence that you are, the salt, whatever. It's that vibration that is you are projecting out into the energy.
It's a very the Christ child. Nobody ever says, "Why was he gifted tree sap?" Right?
Yeah.
So he was gifted these things because they were high frequency. The three magi, the three magicians, knew he was in for one heck of a ride and he needed support. So May is saying, are the angels we request the ones that we've known, family or friends? Can others? So I'm of the belief system that our living loved ones, when they die, aren't necessarily going to turn into angels. It's sort of like a species thing. But at the same time, no offense to my dad. I love my dad dearly. He died many years ago. I need somebody of a higher caliber. Okay. My dad is lovely. He is a high caliber, but he is there to assist me. He does help me. But angels are a little bit different. And then angels.
Well, that kind of opens up another question: is if the vibration that they were on Earth, are they still going to be that frequency and vibration elsewhere?
The goal is, when we have a loved one who's died, we need to ensure they've crossed over and gone to the higher realms. And this is not a popular thought, but a lot of times, those pre-programmed beliefs that we've all grown up with, like, oh, he was a bad person, he deserved to rot in hell, he had unfinished business to do, all ghost energy. A ghost is a former human who left the body, and they're literally stuck between heaven and earth. I don't care how awful of a person they were, they still need to go back into God's arms, back to the higher realms for soul healing, soul restoration. A ghost is never going to be healed as a ghost. And let's say we've got Jeffrey Epstein, that it has not crossed over. Well, he's roaming around. He's free to do what he wants to do as a ghost. We know ghosts can impact humans all the time. That's back through time, back through cultures, back through languages. Everybody has words for ghost, angels, and demons. So Jeffrey Epstein is left to roam the lower astral or the hells. He's going to harm us. So we need to make sure that everybody goes home. It's above my pay grade to decide where he goes. In my house, there are many mansions. It doesn't mean that Jeffrey Epstein is going to go to the same mansion or dimension that you and I are going to. He's going to need some soul rehabilitation, and let the higher realms figure that out. It's a very audacious.
What if they're so bad? Is that what we're hearing? A lot of, like, the Hollywood is very, I don't want to say the word, but it's SA. It starts with an SA, and then you guys do the rest. If they wear red, fire. So, we're hearing a lot of that. And that is, I don't want to really go there right now, but I have a hard time believing that their soul is any good at all. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think that they would move on.
When they come to me, they don't have a choice. But here's the next question, and I don't want to go down in a huge rabbit hole, but is whatever is animating that body, is that a human soul or is it something else?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. And we're going to leave it at that. We're just going to leave it at that.
Perfect.
We're here to uplift each and every one of the souls that follow me out here in our soul tribe of the TTP family. Shabby Maverick, and I'm trying to see where the question is. Says, was my gut right? Or what happened within 24-hour period after I had my intuition feeling? I'm not getting the full sentence out of that. If you want to take a stab at it.
So I'm wondering if Shabby had an experience to trust herself or not. And so sometimes we have these intuitive feelings, like the night before my daughter's car accident. I knew the night before something was going to happen. And sometimes when we don't trust our intuition, we get that answer too. Oh, I should have trusted myself, right?
Right.
So I think that's where she's going with it, or he's going with it. No, they don't get off scot-free when a bad person
well, let's just say that I guess I want to take this, like, you come in, and I always think that we're all like beacons of light, and I could be very naive on that message there. But then you have choices and free will, like you do other places, and then you decide, I'm going to go to Hollywood. I want to be famous, and then they kind of rope you in. You get visited, right? Is what the term is.
Soul, right?
Pardon?
You sell your soul, right?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I don't want to really go into a lot of this because I hate it. I can go on X and see all kinds of stuff like that all day long. And you know what? I open it up 2 minutes later, I'm closing it going, I don't want a part of that vibration, that frequency. I'm done. It's like
Yeah.
having a scary movie on your TV. And what do? You go up and you just flip it off because you don't want that in your home. But what I'm trying to say is briefly is that you come in as a beacon of light and you don't remain that way throughout your adulthood. You do a lot of dirty deeds and then you die. So, I don't know. I don't know if you know this, but they have to meet their maker somewhere.
They do. They're not going to meet it roaming in the bowels of hell or the lower astral. And when I work with somebody, one of the first thing, oh, okay, she says yes, just agreeing with the journaling. Yes, thank you, Shabby. When we send somebody back into the arms of God, it's not that they're getting off scot-free. They need to learn and understand how their actions and behaviors affected those around them. And they may have to come back to the planet for a do-over. The whole concept of YOLO, you only live once, is wrong. So,
well, you know what? So let's see. I'm going to throw this out there because a lot of people out there are thinking we are moving into this new energy, this new world, this new earth, that stuff won't exist. So I kind of agree with you on that. And people are whether it's hope or hopium, I don't know, that there won't be any evil here. So I guess we'll find out in due time, how that is, because people talk about vibrations and frequencies rising, ascension, and we can talk about this on another show. A lot of people are confused. They think that we're going to die and then go meet our loved ones, not ascending with our vibration and frequencies. But if that does happen, are those evildoers allowed to come back?
I think once, from my perspective and what I understand for the work I do, they're not allowed to come back until they've been rehabilitated. And a person who is a ghost is still incurring negative karma because they have not crossed over and they still affect us on the earth plane. And so I know, heard him.
That was my dog. She's sleeping. It's a big golden retriever. She snores really loud. It was not me.
I know that wasn't you. That's awesome.
All right. Well, let me just take a pause for the cause. We are talking to Laura Van Tyne. If you guys want to call in 563-999-3717. If you have a question about angels, we're just basically giving you a lot of tools for your toolbox at this particular time. And if you have a question or situation that you want to know how to work with, and practice makes perfect, and Laura will help you with that. Go ahead, Laura.
Thank you. It's my belief that recycling isn't going to save the planet. It's helpful, right? But until we can make sure that the dead cross over, no matter what atrocities they've committed, they will reincarnate from the lower astral, more and more broken each time. And I don't want to go down a huge rabbit hole with that, but that's the reality of the situation. So the more souls that we can cross over, the higher the vibration is on this planet, period. Ghost energy is a very low vibrational energy. Sometimes people become ghosts for many reasons. Sometimes they're just ejected out of their body and they have no idea what happened. I was just talking to my girlfriend the other day, and she had somebody who knew someone whose loved one, 3 of them died in a car accident, and the ghosts of those 3 were hanging out with this one guy, and the guy's like, I don't know what to do with this. And she helped cross them over. It doesn't take rocket science to cross over the dead. It takes angels. And you assign the angels to cross them over. It's above my pay grade to figure out where they go, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, we're still human and we're still at a certain level, but that's where you said in the beginning of the show, if you guys want to catch that, you can go back and watch the recorded version of it, is that we have to learn to ask the angels for help and guidance and to teach us in whatever terms that you want to use. So we're here to help you guys. If we're going to lighten the information a little bit, if you have a particular situation that you can't figure out how to overcome, and we'll try to help you through it. Please give us a call. And we've got a call coming in right now from area code 513. Make sure I got this right. 513, you are live.
Hi, this is Tracy, Daily Questions. I have some questions, but I guess first I wanted to just say something inspirational. I wasn't sure if it was my father or my angel sending me hearts, but in 2019, my father passed away, and a week later I lost my home, and I was picking rocks up to take them with me so I could have something special, and I found 2 hearts, and I just instantly felt that was my dad or my angel saying, everything's going to be okay, that they love me. And then since 2019, it's like almost every day a heart rock appears, or I found a heart-shaped bird nest, and just constant hearts everywhere. It's amazing, and I try to connect with my angels and really be able to feel them, but I haven't been able to hear them or feel them. Is there a way I can connect deeper than just, I love getting hearts. I don't know. I want to connect a lot deeper and be able to know.
Yeah. That gave me goosebumps there. Yeah.
Okay, caller, we're going to put you on hold for a second, and if you want to listen in, and we're going to keep you on the line here with us. Go ahead, Laura.
That was fantastic. I actually got goosebumps when she was talking about her dad with the angels, because I can literally see they're showing me, my team is showing me, he has 2 angels that met him upon death. And that is the most beautiful, hopeful element we could ever want for our loved one. And if anybody has a loved one who is going to pass soon, fill their room with angels and tell them to take their soul back home to the heavens, to the higher realms when they leave that body. So the question becomes, she's immediately presented with these hearts, heart-shaped rocks, heart-shaped nests. Those are signs from the divine, and go with it, run with it. You can even take photos of them and make a photo collection of them, and they become just a beautiful form of connection between us and the higher realms. How do we feel the angels more? It takes practice, and I'm going to say, don't expect that you're going to see the angel standing right in front of you. Sometimes it's a feeling, sometimes it's an inner knowing, sometimes it's a fleeting thought that they're connecting with us. It can be many things for many people. And depending on our energy levels, am I really tired? Am I energized? I can feel or sense them more. So for me, sometimes they feel like little bubbles on my arm. Sometimes I'll feel them like on the back of my head. Sometimes I'll just feel like a huge presence around me. And sometimes when I'm in busy traffic, the traffic opens up around me, and I know that that's somehow related to them. And so that is a fantastic question. How do I build it? If we can start with maybe basic meditation, just meditation is listening to God or source, to your spiritual teams. Just give yourself the gift of 5 minutes when you wake up in the morning, and just ask for guidance, advice. You may not get something, you may get something. Every day is different, every moment is different. Prayer is talking to God. And a word about prayer real quick. We've been taught to pray like this, right? This closes our energy. What if we prayed in the early Aramaic days of Jesus with our hands up and open? How does that shift our connections?
Yeah, and it's energy coming in and it's energy going out.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a beautiful question. And
it was a great question. Caller, do you have anything else to add?
Thank you so much. It's funny because today I lost my home like a week after my dad passed, and I've been really working hard. I moved states and total new career now, and I've just been really working hard to try to get back on my feet. And my house I was looking at, it got sold last night, and it's like, I constantly keep myself up, and I know that it wasn't meant to be. Something else is gonna, pop up that's better for me. And I just kept thinking that I'm not gonna let myself get upset. And I found a heart rock today, and I hadn't seen one in probably a week, so it was like my confirmation, like, yes, you're on the right track, you're thinking properly. So that's how I kind of connect all the hearts that I get now, because it is insane how many I get.
Well, Laura, hold on a second, caller. Laura, what did you get?
I feel like I'm on.
So when you were talking about the house, I was immediately shown a different house. I think that house that you lost, but you didn't lose it, I think it has some huge problems with it down the road, like 5 years down the road. It was going to be cost prohibitive changes. I don't know if it's a slab leak. I don't know what it was, but I think you dodged a bullet.
There you go. Thank you, caller, for calling.
I have a feeling too.
Yeah, you
I
did.
believe that too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, thank you for calling. Anybody else? I'm going to hang up on you with you now. Anyone else wants to call in and just share a story with Laura? We've got Laura. How are you doing on time here? I'm trying to see what time we started.
I'm good. We got a few more minutes. Absolutely.
Yeah, we got a few more minutes. One more call that we'll take, and I see people are kind of jumping on here now. So we're with Laura Tyne, and she is the author of Soul Tribe. As I drop something here, Soul Tribe is her book, and beautiful, beautiful artwork. So navigating the spiritual war, your soul tribe is here to assist and guide us as we embark on our spiritual journey. With the trust and intention, we can consciously build and create our soul tribe. This is from the author Laura Van Tyne, who you're speaking with right now. And we're talking angels. And then she also happened to send me a beautiful, if I would call it a diary, it's a journaling book, whatever you want to call it. I keep my notes in here. I love these books. I really do. So, we'll take one more call, or if you, Heidi is out there saying she has an amazing book. Heidi must have your book. So if anybody wants to sneak a call in, please do. And just get used to turn the page. I'm going to be calling you. We want you to raise your voice, if you will. We want to hear you. When Laura actually hears your voice, she's picking up your vibration a lot more better. She's getting a lot more information on you, and that's why we're having you guys call in. We can't see you. We don't know who you are. We don't know your phone number, so on and so forth. And, so Shabby's actually asking, where can you get and order those two books?
You can go to Amazon to get them. You can just look up Laura Van Tyne. My books will pop up there, or Soul Tribe, Navigating the Spiritual War. So thank you, Shabby. And thank you, Heidi, for that.
Yeah. And so there you guys go. I'm so glad to have you back here again, Laura. It was been way too long. If you guys haven't seen her, I can't remember the last time when you were here, to be honest with you.
I think it might have been last year, maybe.
Yeah. So I tend to go through my contacts and say, okay, it's time for them to come back. And then we've got a Ricky Green out there who's basically saying love and light to all, and Heidi is saying thank you so much. So in parting here, so we're coming up on the hour. What do you want to leave for everybody here in reference to our conversation today?
You're worth it. You owe it to yourself to build a healthy and strong soul tribe. Build your angelic teams. You are worth it, and give yourself the gift of time to do so.
Yeah. Colleen is asking about the book. So the one book is just a journal, blank pages, and I'm creating my world. As I create my world, I will basically witness it in paper. So that's the one book. And the other book, it's called Sovereignty. And then the Soul Tribe, they want to know, well, you said 3 books, did you not?
Well, there's one main book, and then there's 3 journals, and the journals are based on, that's the main book. Soul Tribe, Navigating the Spiritual War is the main book. The other 3 are journals. If you have an area in your life that you would like to learn how to develop, use that journal for it, or just use a notepad. All sales go to a foundation that is designed to help others in need. It's working on building retreats for parents whose children have died of suicide, et cetera. So there's a foundation that this book money goes to. I don't personally benefit from that. But yeah, and you can get them on Amazon. That's the best place, the easiest place.
Yeah, definitely. So also take a look. Do you have a website, Laura?
thekarmicpath.com, KARMIC path, PATH.com. And on that, I do a weekly blog. There's blogs on all sorts of topics, soul sovereignty to all kinds of things. So there's videos. I've got a YouTube page with the videos that I do. And what I'll do is I'll take client sessions for the most part and explain what's going on and how this person is impacted and how we rectified that situation. Because knowledge is power. We need to start to share the knowledge that works. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of misinformation out there. So you have to decide for yourself what rings true for you and why. Don't just assume that it's right for you, but explore the why is this right for me?
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much. I just have one announcement to make here. I am looking for a co-host, specifically a male. I do Saturday Night Lives with Buck, but I would like to also do some other evening shows. And I always have all my guests on. And so if anybody is out there and interested in coming on and being a co-host, just talking about political, whatever is going on. I'm actually going to be doing a show, I think, showing the debates.
Fun.
Yeah, and I'm going to be taking your calls just to hear your comments out there. So I'm going to actually shut down the switchboard here. Thank you all for joining in and calling in. And
thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
Goodbye. And so I just want to put that out there. I'm looking for a co-host. I'm always looking for a co-host on here. We could share the information out there. So just all you've got to do is just write to me. What else do we have here, Laura?
Goodness, that was a lot. And again, the bottom line is you are your soul. You're worth working on, period.
Yeah. So I'm getting some people out there finally talking to me out on Rumble. There must have been something else going on out there. But yeah, we're going to do the debate live. And I want to hear your comments and your concerns. Call in and let us know how you feel about things. And if you're one of those that can read the comms, more power to you, because I would love to hear from you on that one too. We're going to be raising our voice on Thursday also. So everybody is... So Heidi's saying she listens to all your videos and many things. People don't understand that will help them. We need help right now. A lot of people are sad, they're mad, they're upset. A lot of different energies going around there, but we need to stay in the best possible place that we can each and every day. And it is hard, and I think it's going to get a little bit harder for us, but we could do it with the help of how do I put it? Angels,
using the angelic realms to help us. And I'm going to close on this note. Years ago, a grouping of angels came to my house, but they didn't come inside. And they didn't come inside because I didn't give them permission to. I thought that was interesting. But this is 15 plus, almost 20 years ago. They said, humanity needs to know that it's going to get very dark, but they can use angels to help navigate the path. So use your angels. It's a free resource, right? Doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, exactly. So that's very beautiful. Thank you again for joining us on Turn the Page. And like I said, I'd love to have you back again. I am actually taking some downtime in July, as I do every year. I'm going on my 5th year of doing this, and you'd think that I would run out of things to talk about, but this world is so interesting, and having everybody in it makes it all the better and more fun. And we're all just moving forward, helping humanity one person at a time, one show at a time. And Laura, thank you for helping humanity tonight.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. This was my pleasure. You're so much fun. I love it. I love your energy. I love your vibe. So thank you very much, Janine.
Okay. Good night, everybody. And now we turn the page. See you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. There's my peanut gallery. Now we're gonna go out to dinner.
Okay. Have a great dinner.